Welcome, fellow artists, to my HIMI Gouache review and unboxing video. So I hate reviews that don't cut to the chase right away, so here's my quick overall impressions. This is a great beginner set and is absolutely worth the hype and the price. If you are already using student grade or artist grade gouache though, I don't think I recommend this set unless you really want to try it out and just have it to have it. But what really makes this set unique is the user experience. Opening the box, feeling like a little kid, dipping your brush into some paint cups, seeing all the vibrant colors in front of you, closing it back up and hearing that is what makes this set so unique and worth the purchase. It's a fun, sensory experience that makes painting feel exciting and childlike. So let's start with the included brushes. They're nice and they're decent. They aren't the best brushes I've ever used though, and they certainly don't feel super high quality, but they get the job done and they are a nice entry-level set of brushes for someone who has never painted before or a beginner to gouache. Although I really like the design, the color and the gold, just so good. Personally, I would just recommend going to your local art store and getting a set of nice watercolor brushes. Now let's enjoy a hyperlapse of peeling off all these little wrappers on the paint cups. This was kind of a hilarious process. Some of them were really easy to take off, and then others were just like, oh my gosh, it was a pain. Like I had to use my teeth. It was pretty funny. It was also really messy. I got paint all over my fingers, and I'm a pretty clean person, and I'm pretty good at, dealing with things that are messy and not getting stuff on me, but it still got on me. So that tells you that this is a messy process. And I had to edit out all the empty space of me just like trying to take the wrapper off the cup because it was just taking me way too long sometimes. So if you get this set, you have that to look forward to. Anyways, let's get into the actual colors. I genuinely love the color selection. I think there are so many beautiful colors here to choose from, and I specifically love the Prussian blue, pale purple, and sky blue colors. They are so beautiful. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't another white. I thought that this set was going to come with another white because I had seen other reviews of this set having a second white. Maybe I got the wrong set, or maybe I misremembered what set it was that I saw that review from, but regardless, that was a little disappointing since white is going to be used really often. Although I heard that you can get refills of each individual cup on HIMI Maya's website, so that's okay. If I run out, I can just get some more. I was also disappointed by the name of the peach color that was called quote-unquote nude. This implies that any nude or naked person is going to be that color, which is not true and not inclusive of people of color, so I changed the name in my swatches to peach because that felt more accurate. I think inclusivity is extremely important, especially for artists, since anyone should be able to make art and feel included in the process. I would love for the brand HIMI or Maya, whichever one it is, would change that for future palettes because it's 2023. Inclusivity should be a given at this point. As I'm listening back to each section that I recorded audio for this, it sounds like I'm being kind of hard on the HIMI Gouache set, but I love this experience so much. I just wanted to point out some of my critiques and things that I feel maybe could be said, or for some people might just be little things to look out for and just know ahead of time, because I think if I had known these things ahead of time, it would give me a clearer idea of what to expect. I don't know. Regardless, I really love the set. I do think it's amazing and so fun. I really loved swatching all the colors and kind of messing with all the different ways you can dilute it and build on top of each other. And I think the more that I use it, the more I'm going to love it. But yeah, I think it's kind of more of the ritual of taking the box out and opening things up, and it really just gets you into the experience, into the zone of painting that I don't think I've had with other paints before. I use watercolor, I use the Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set, and it's a little different with tubes. I don't know, I don't mind using the tubes, but there's just something about seeing all the colors out in front of you that is just a different experience, and I just really like it. So as I'm finishing up swatching all these colors, I'm just gonna kind of skip over most of it. I don't think you wanted to see me swatch the rest of the colors. But then I'm going to cut here to a moment of all the colors. You can pause here if you want to look at them. And then here's just a little bit of a close-up of each color so you can see them up close. So now let's talk about the actual painting process and what it's like to paint with this set. This is my first time trying gouache, and having worked with watercolor for a little while and acrylics, I thought I was going to have an idea of what it was going to feel like, given I had heard gouache sort of feels somewhat in between acrylics and watercolor. I was sort of still unexpectedly shocked and surprised by the experience of painting with gouache though. I can't really describe how it feels. Like, it does feel like watercolor when you dilute it, but it also doesn't really feel like acrylic though when it's opaque and there's not a lot of water on it. It almost just feels kind of like, yeah, like jelly-like. I mean, it's jelly gouache, and that does feel like what it feels like when you paint with it. Although, I intend to make a more in-depth review of what it's like to paint with this gouache set in the future, because I think my thoughts will change and I'll have a better grasp and understanding how that experience is once I use it more. I'm not sure if it was the brush I was using, but I had some issues with control at first. It just felt like the paint wasn't going where I wanted it to go. I also didn't know how to paint with it, like whether I should start with a more diluted, watery consistency or a more opaque consistency. Turns out you're supposed to start with a more watery and dilute consistency and work your way up to an opaque consistency. That probably would have saved me some headache if I had known that prior. I was also a little underwhelmed by the colors at first, but then once like the colors dried, like holy smokes, the colors are so incredibly vibrant. It's so cool. I don't know if I would always want my paintings to look this vibrant, but I love that you could achieve this level of vibrancy and saturation just by pulling the paint out of the cup and putting it on the paper. Although apparently you can do what's called an underpainting before you start actually painting to desaturate the colors a little bit if you so desire, and I plan on trying that out in the future to just see how it works. Okay, let's talk about the design. I love the color of the box and the overall presentation of the HIMI Gouache set. It's unique, iconic, fun, and original, and it makes me feel like a little kid. You can see that I have some plastic wrap over the top, and the reason I have this is because you have to stick the palette on top, which puts it in contact with all the paint, which could accidentally contaminate the colors. I wish HIMI would have created a design that had a cover to go over the paints that was slightly lifted, and then the palette could have gone on the top of that cover. You see how it's kind of like divoted down, so it'll just kind of touch the paint. So that's why I have the plastic wrap to stop that. And then if you put it the other way though, then you can't close the box. So yeah, I wish the design was a little bit different so that wouldn't happen. Although I give them bonus points for putting a palette in there at all. It's just so nice to have a palette. As soon as you grab the box, you just have everything you need. And that's pretty much it for this video. Here are just some of my paintings that I did with the gouache. So I was just trying it out, not anything super crazy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening, and thanks for tuning in.